My fiancée got a huge face tattoo, then blamed me when her life exploded. I found out my engagement was over from a cardboard box. It was just after sunrise, the porch still cold under my bare feet, when I opened the door and saw it sitting there. Medium Home Depot box, sloppy tape job, my name on top in Kim's looping handwriting. On the lid, balanced like a prop in a cruel joke, was our engagement ring. For a second, I really thought it was a prank. Kim loved dramatic gestures. I picked up the ring, half expecting her to jump out from behind a bush with her phone out. Instead, there was only the quiet street and the sound of a bus a couple blocks away. The ring was warm from the first light. It looked wrong out here, like it had been photoshopped into the wrong picture. 6 months ago, I'd slid it onto her finger while she ugly cried in a restaurant bathroom because she didn't want to sob at the table. Now it sat alone on cardboard. Under the band, taped to the lid, was a folded note. We're done. No mark, no apology. Just 2 words, written deep enough to dent the paper. The same handwriting that had filled out our lease, our save the dates, stupid grocery lists on the fridge. My stomach dropped. I tore the tape and opened the box. Inside, my gray hoodie she always stole, a stack of printed photos of us, concerts, hikes, the day we signed for this apartment, her mug from college, a hairbrush, random artifacts from a life that was apparently over. No explanation, no context, just a breakup curated like a moving out kit. I carried the box inside and set it on the coffee table. The apartment suddenly felt too quiet, like even the fridge had shut up out of respect. I grabbed my phone off the couch and tapped her name out of muscle memory. Her contact photo popped up, Kim laughing at a street festival, cheeks round, hair in a messy bun. No ink on her face, no hint of what was coming. Under it, the last text she'd sent me 3 days earlier, "Don't ever contact me again." At the time, I'd told myself it was just another big fight. We were both stubborn. We'd argued, cooled off, talked it out. That was our cycle. Now, staring at the ring on my coffee table, in a box of our history, it didn't feel like a phase. I hit call anyway. The call rang once, then jumped straight to call failed. No voicemail. Either my number was blocked or her phone was off. Panic crawled up my spine. I scrolled to Hannah's name, Kim's little sister, and hit call. She answered on the second ring. "Mark? Hannah, hey," I said. My voice came out hoarse. "Did you know Kim dropped a box at my place? She left the ring. She says we're done." There was a tiny pause, just traffic noise on her end. "She already did it," Hannah whispered. "Did what?" I sank onto the couch, the ring biting into my palm. "She got a tattoo," Hannah said. "On her face." For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. "Like, a tiny one?" I tried. "A star or something?" "No," Hannah said. I could hear her pacing. "Like, big. These black kanji. Across her forehead, down under her eye. Mark, her whole face is..." She cut herself off with a curse in Japanese. She sent me a selfie. I thought she was drunk. Then she blocked me. Images crashed together in my head. The Kim I knew, careful about her eyeliner, debating for 20 minutes if a couch color was too much of a statement, walking into a shop and letting someone carve permanent ink into her face. "Why?" I managed. "She keeps saying she's finally expressing herself," Hannah said, her voice tight. "My parents are losing it. Dad said if she doesn't get it removed, he's cutting her off. Mom's been crying for 2 days." I pictured Mr. and Mrs. Sato in their neat little house, spotless sofa, framed family photos in perfect rows. I'd spent years trying to prove I was worthy of their daughter, bowing too low, bringing flowers, learning basic Japanese phrases. "Tattoos are different for them," Hannah went on. "In their community, that kind of visible ink is basically saying you're a criminal. She knows that. She did it anyway." I stared at the ring in my hand. We'd picked it out together at a mall, Kim joking about how she'd fake cry when I actually proposed. She hadn't faked anything that night. "Am I a monster if I don't chase her?" I asked quietly. "If she's clearly spiraling and I stay away?" "You're not a monster," Hannah said after a beat. "But she's not well, Mark. She's not..." "Kim, I don't know what the right thing is." I leaned back, pressing my thumb into the ring until it hurt. Walking away from my fiancée while she blew up her life felt unforgivable. Jumping back into her chaos felt like volunteering for a house fire. "Her parents say if she doesn't fix it, they're done," Hannah added. "They're talking about sending her back to Japan, getting relatives involved. I've never seen them like this." I opened my mouth to say I'd try to fix it, because that's what I always did. Before I could, a car door slammed outside, loud enough to make me flinch. Footsteps came up the stairs, heavy, fast. I'd forgotten to lock the door when I brought the box in. "Hannah," I said, standing up. "Someone's here." "Is it her?" Hannah's voice sharpened. "If it's Kim, please be careful. She's not in a normal headspace." The footsteps reached my floor. My doorknob turned. "Mark?" a voice called. But it wasn't Kim. And as the door swung open, the last thing I heard in my head wasn't whoever was at my door now. It was myself, 3 nights earlier in my kitchen, saying the one thing that blew our life apart. "What the hell did you do to your face?" 3 nights earlier, she'd walked into my apartment wearing a black hoodie and a plain white mask. It was weird from the start. Kim hated hiding her face. She used to joke that half her personality lived in her eyebrows. That night, her hood was up, mask in place, hands stuffed deep into her pockets. "You okay?" I'd asked, closing the door behind her. "You look like you're about to rob me." "I just don't feel great," she'd said. "I'll take it off in a bit." We ordered Thai. I set plates. She hovered by the counter, jittery, scrolling her phone. Can you at least take the mask off? I'd joked. I swear I showered. She'd stared at me for a second. Eyes too bright, pupils a little too big. Then with a tiny shrug, she hooked a finger under the elastic and pulled the mask down. Black ink hit me like a punch. Thick kanji ran from her hairline down the right side of her forehead, cutting through her eyebrow and curving under her eye. The skin around it was raw and angry, shiny with ointment. It looked like the tattoo itself was inflamed at what it had been attached to. For a stupid second, I hoped it was one of those realistic temporary tattoos. What is that? I'd stammered. Art, she said, lifting her chin. It's my name and some other stuff. It's beautiful. The next words just launched themselves out of me. What the hell did you do to your face? Her expression flipped from smug to nuclear. She slammed her palm on the counter so hard the salt shaker toppled and rolled across the floor. Wow, she said, voice shaking. There it is. You sound just like them. Like who? I asked, still staring at the ink like staring long enough would undo it. My parents? Everyone, she snapped. She started pacing the tiny kitchen, hands slicing the air. I finally do something for me, something that feels right. And all you can say is, I ruined my face. You didn't even ask what it means. I dragged my eyes up from the tattoo to her eyes. They were wide, restless. There was a buzzing energy under her skin like she'd downed 3 energy drinks. Kim, you didn't tell me you were thinking about this, I said, trying to keep my voice level. We're getting married. You work at a bank. This affects more than just you. Oh my God, she said, laughing once, high and sharp. There it is. I knew it. You only like me because I look like your perfect little wife. Sweet, respectable, boring. That's not fair, I said. You know that's not fair. She skewered me with a look. You're just like my parents. You want me to fit in your little box so you can show me off. You don't actually want me. I love you, I said, and I'm worried. You walked into a shop and got something permanently tattooed on your face without talking to me or your family or anyone. That's terrifying. Don't pretend this is about worry, she shot back. You're embarrassed. You're thinking about your coworkers and your boss and your little office parties. I thought of her job before mine. Kim, your clients at the bank are going to complain, I said. You know how conservative they are. Your manager is going to lose it. You could lose your job. She barked out a laugh. So, maybe I don't want to sell debt to rich people forever. Maybe this is my sign to get out. Not everyone wants to rot in a cubicle like you. The words landed harder than I wanted to admit. I exhaled slowly. Can you at least tell me what it means? I asked. The characters? She grabbed her phone, tapped, and shoved an Instagram post in my face. Some guy covered in tattoos, kanji cascading down his temple. The caption was a long rant about living authentically and rejecting norms. This guy has sponsors, she said. He travels, brands pay him. People love him. I'm done living for other people's comfort. You're not an influencer, I said. I tried to keep it gentle. You're a loan officer. That doesn't make you less, but it's not this. Because I've been living the life you and my parents picked for me, she said. Smiling, nodding, dying inside. You blindsided me, I said, feeling my voice fray. We're supposed to be a team. You don't drop something like this on your face and treat it like a surprise party. This feels insane. The room went dead quiet. Even the fridge hum seemed to pull back. Kim stopped pacing. Her shoulders dropped. Her face went very still. Oh, she said softly. Okay, I get it now. She unlocked her phone. My stomach tightened. Kim, what are you doing? I asked. She opened our text thread, eyes still locked on mine. My phone buzzed on the counter a second later. New message from Kim. Don't ever contact me again. Then, slowly, she tapped a few more times and turned the screen toward me. Where it used to say Mark at the top of our messages, it now said blocked. You're blocking me while you're standing in my kitchen, I said. Seriously? You called me insane, she said. Her voice had gone flat. You made it pretty clear what you think of the real me. I didn't call you insane. I said this decision feels... We're done. She grabbed her bag off the chair. Kim, wait, can we just... She yanked the front door open so hard it hit the wall. No coat, no look back. Cold air rushed in as the door slammed. I stood there in the doorway of my own kitchen, feeling like she'd taken the floor with her. Back on my couch in the present, the ring stabbing into my palm and the box of our stuff at my feet. That door slam echoed with the real sound of footsteps in my hallway. Mark? A voice called again, closer this time. I jerked my head up. The front door opened. Hannah stood there, hair in a messy ponytail, eyes swollen, taking in the box and the ring in one sweep before she burst into tears. We met properly 2 days later at a ramen shop near downtown. She'd texted, "Can we talk somewhere public?" And I'd agreed, partly for safety, partly because my apartment felt haunted. The restaurant was loud, steam, clatter, K-pop playing low. We squeezed into a corner booth. Hannah didn't waste time. She slid her phone across the table. It was the selfie Kim had sent her at 3 a.m. Kim's face was swollen, the skin around the tattoo red and shiny. The black kanji looked even harsher against the irritation. Her eyes were bloodshot. She was half smiling, but there was nothing happy in it. Caption, finally free. What do the characters say? I asked. Her name, freedom, and something like no masters, Hannah said. In my parents' community, that is bad. You know that, right? I know. I'd heard the stories. Bathhouses and gyms that turned people away for tattoos. Whole careers closed off. They're humiliated, Hannah said. Dad hasn't gone to work. Mom won't pick up her friends' calls. They keep asking what they did wrong. I stared at the photo of the woman I loved and felt like I was looking at a stranger. Did she say why now? I asked. She says we've been controlling her forever, Hannah said. She says the tattoo is her real face, that we like the mask. What do you want me to do? I asked. Can you just not pile on? Hannah said. If everyone rejects her at once, I'm scared she'll do something worse. Maybe if you stay, she'll have a reason to get help. I do still love her, I said, but I'm drowning. I don't know if I can stand this close to her while she sets herself on fire. Hannah looked down at her bowl. I don't know either, she said. Every option feels wrong. At work, the whole thing stopped being just our drama when my coworker Jake walked into the break room laughing. Dude, he said, holding up his phone. You see this? Some girl with a giant kanji face tattoo was at the coffee place downstairs. People are roasting her on the building's Slack. He turned the phone toward me. Blurry side profile. Kim, the caption, when you commit to bad decisions. That's not funny, I snapped. Jake blinked. Didn't know you were so pro-face tattoo. That's my fiancée, I said. The word felt wrong now. Or she was. He went pale. Oh, shit, I'm sorry, man. That night, my dad called from out of state. He'd heard the bare outline from my mom. Son, he said after I gave him the fuller version, people don't usually nuke their lives over just ink. This sounds like more than a phase. I know, I said. Hannah thinks she's having some kind of breakdown. Has anyone gotten her to a doctor? He asked. A real one. Not just family yelling at her. She refuses, I said. She says we all want to control her. You can't fix her, he said quietly. You can't love her out of this. You can burn yourself out trying. After we hung up, I opened our old shared wedding email account, the one we used to send venue links and vendor quotes. I started typing. Kim, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I'm scared. Not about the tattoo, that shocked me, yeah, but about how fast everything is changing. I poured everything into it. Offered to go to therapy with her. I said I loved her even if we never got married. I just wanted her to be safe. I hit send. Instant bounce back. Address not found. She'd deleted the wedding email. It felt like she'd taken a razor to our shared future. Same way she'd taken ink to her face. A week later, Hannah texted, Kim's bank, 4 p.m. HR. Come if you can. I showed up to see Kim walking out of the revolving doors with a cardboard box, flanked by a manager in a blazer and a security guard. The tattoo was uncovered, stark in the afternoon sun. She wore the same blouse she'd worn the day she got promoted last year. The contrast made my chest ache. Her manager handed her a folder. Kim took it without looking, jaw set, eyes fixed straight ahead. Kim? Hannah called, starting toward her. I grabbed her arm. Maybe let her. Kim's head snapped our way. Oh, good, she said loudly. The intervention squad. Her manager vanished back inside. The guard lingered a few steps away. Did they fire you? Hannah asked, voice thin. They let me go, Kim said, doing air quotes. Clients felt my appearance didn't align with the bank's image. Translation, they're cowards. Mom and Dad begged you to cover it with makeup, Hannah said. You wouldn't even try? I'm not hiding who I am for old men with pensions, Kim snapped. I am not a doll you can decorate to keep everyone comfortable. Where are you going to go? Hannah asked. How are you going to pay rent? Kim shifted the box, the corner digging into her hip. I'll figure it out, she said. I always do. That night, my boss Laura called and very gently suggested I take time off before my brain melted out of my ears. I told her I was fine. I wasn't. Later, scrolling without thinking, I saw a blurry photo of Kim, tagged at a dive bar across town. She sat at a table with heavily tattooed strangers, drink in hand, the tattoo on her face like a mask. Caption, new family. I forwarded the photo to Hannah. I'm worried. She replied, they want to do an intervention. No idea if it'll help or blow everything up. It blew everything up. The Sato's living room looked like you weren't allowed to touch anything. White couch, glass coffee table, perfect orchids. I sat on the edge of the couch, hands clasped, feeling like a stain. Mr. Sato sat rigid in his armchair. Mrs. Sato clutched a tissue. Hannah paced near the window. She said 6, Hannah muttered. It was 6:30. When the door finally opened, Kim didn't sneak in. She stormed. Her eyes landed on me first. What is he doing here? She demanded, pointing like I was an intruder. Kim, sit down, Mr. Sato said in Japanese. Then in English. His voice shook. Is this an ambush? She snapped. Are you serious? She spun, bumping a framed family photo. It toppled, glass cracking on the hardwood. Sweetie, please, Mrs. Sato said, reaching out. We are just worried, that's all. Tattoos like that are for criminals. Mr. Sato burst out in Japanese, then switched back. For gangsters. You know this. You spit on everything we worked for. I'm not a criminal, Kim said. I'm the only honest one in this room. Mr. Sato clasped his hands together. Think about your future, your job, your husband, your children. No one will take you seriously like this. She laughed. Newsflash. I don't want your version of a future. Beige house, beige husband, beige life. Then she turned to me. What about you, Mark? Are you with them or with me? The room shrank. 3 pairs of eyes pinned me to the cushion. If I said I was with her, I'd be co-signing the freefall. If I said I was with them, I'd be the controlling fiancé in her story forever. I'm with you getting help, I said. It was the only honest thing I had. I love you. I want you, okay? But I can't pretend this isn't dangerous. She repeated the word like it tasted bad. Help, she said. You mean Let's drug you up and make you normal. No one said that, Hannah protested. We just think maybe talking to... Kim pulled out her phone and flipped it to video. Everyone smile, she said. Here's my abusive family and ex-fiancé staging an intervention because I dared to be myself. Stop it, Mrs. Sato whispered, covering her face. Kim, this is private, Mr. Sato said. Nothing's private when you're being abused, she shot back, panning across her crying mother, her furious father, my stunned face. If any of you contact me again after tonight, I call the cops. No one is trying to hurt you, I said. We're scared. I'm scared of you, she said. All of you. You want to lock me up? Carve pieces off me. Make me apologize for existing. Enough, Mr. Sato said hoarsely. If you walk out that door, don't come back until you fix this. We cannot watch you do this. For a second, something flickered in her eyes, then it hardened. Then I guess you don't have a daughter anymore, she said. She slammed the door on the way out. Mrs. Sato slid to the floor and sobbed. Hannah stared at the broken photo. We might have just lost her for good, she whispered. I didn't correct her. For the first time, I believed it too. Weeks blurred. Work, sleep, worry, repeat. My mom set me up to meet her friend, Dr. Patel, a therapist. We sat in a quiet cafe with too many plants. I gave her the short version. Face tattoo, job loss, intervention. It sounds like you're grieving someone who's still alive, she said. She keeps saying she's free, I said. It looks like she's detonating her life. Has anyone considered substances? Dr. Patel asked. Stimulants, especially. You mentioned jittery energy, no appetite, big impulsive decisions. My brain snagged on that. Late night texts from Kim about grinding through 80-hour weeks, joking about little helpers to stay awake, the constant buzzing in her movement. I thought that was just hustle culture, I said slowly. Sometimes it is, she said. Sometimes it's drugs. Sometimes it's both. On the walk home, every memory replayed differently. Those funny stories about staying up 3 nights in a row for month-end closing, her sudden mood swings, the way she'd once snapped at me for touching her purse. Back then, I'd brushed it off. Now it made me feel physically sick. I pulled out my phone 3 times to call her and say, I think you might have a drug problem. Each time I pictured how she'd hear it, as an accusation, not concern, and my thumb froze. Instead, I texted Hannah. Therapist thinks it might be stimulants. It fits. Hannah replied, We've tried to get her evaluated. She keeps vanishing. New couch every week. We can't keep up. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Finally, I opened Kim's contact and hit block. It felt like amputating a limb to stop the infection. A few days later, I sat in my boss Laura's office. The door closed, a box of tissues on the desk like a threat. You've been through it, she said. You want some time? I'm fine, I said automatically. Then I heard how hollow it sounded. Take 4 weeks, she said, before you break something important, like your brain. So I did. I spent my leave dismantling the life we'd planned. I boxed up our wedding invitations, each one a tiny promise we weren't keeping anymore. I pulled down our vision board, houses, honeymoon places, baby names. The empty patch on the wall looked like a missing tooth. Jake met me at the park one Saturday with takeout. You didn't cause this, he said. You're not the tattoo gun. I keep replaying every time I nagged her about work, about saving for a house, I said. What if I pushed her towards this? What if she was trying to escape me as much as her parents? People with their lives together don't wake up and get face tattoos just because their fiancé likes Excel, he said. You're allowed to have boundaries. Part of me hopes she crashes hard, I admitted. So she has to get help. And then I hate myself for thinking that. That's not evil, he said. That's you wanting a story where she wakes up before it kills her. Months passed. I went back to work, started running again. Some days I made it until lunch before thinking about her. One evening my phone lit up with an unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail. Instead I answered, Hello? A pause, then, Hi, Mark. Her voice was quieter, rougher. But it was Kim. My heart tried to punch out of my chest. Kim? Yeah, she said. I could hear her shaky breathing. Can we talk? In person? I asked, against my better judgment. If that's okay, she said. I'm in town. I could come by tomorrow night. I closed my eyes. 7, I said. 7, she echoed. Thank you. When she knocked the next night, she was 5 minutes early. I'd cleaned my apartment like she was the landlord. When I opened the door, I barely recognized her. She'd always been petite. Now she looked hollow, cheekbones sharp, wrists thin. Heavy makeup masked her forehead and under one eye, but faint black lines still ghosted through. Hey, she said. Hey. We stood in the doorway for a second like strangers. Tea? I offered. Oh, sure. She perched on the edge of the couch, hands wrapped around the mug to stop them shaking. Her eyes darted around, landing on the blank spots where our photos used to hang. Looks different, she said. Yeah. How have you been? I asked. She laughed once. That's a lot. We have time, I said. If you want to talk. She stared into her tea. I lost the apartment, she said. Thought I'd be fine after the bank, savings, friends, whatever. Turns out whatever isn't a plan. She told me about couch surfing, about bars and parties that blurred together, about using stuff to get through the nights, then to get through the days. She didn't say meth. She didn't have to. Are you using now? I asked. Not like before, she said quickly. I'm in a sober house. I'm trying. The word trying did a lot of work. I wanted to call you 100 times, she said, when it got bad. Then I realized you'd blocked me. I had to, I said. I was falling apart. I know, she said, and surprised me by sounding like she meant it. You were lucky I cut you off when I did. You don't want to know how bad it got. Silence stretched between us. Why are you here? I asked. Really? She swallowed. I want a fresh start, she said. I'm going to meetings. I'm doing the steps. I thought maybe we could try again slowly. I loved you, I said, for 7 years. When you walked out, it wrecked me. I know, she whispered. I was high on freedom and chemicals and anger. I burned down everything good in my life. Why didn't you come to me before? I asked. Before it turned into all this? She hesitated. Because you would have tried to stop me, she said, and I didn't want to be stopped. She admitted she'd started with little helpers to get through 80-hour weeks at the bank, then more, then stronger stuff. Everyone does it, she said. Some people just don't admit it. We talked for hours about her parents cutting contact, about stealing from relatives, about waking up in places she didn't recognize, about the one overdose that scared her enough to crawl into a meeting for the first time. Around 4 a.m, she stood. I should go, she said. Curfew. I walked her to the door. Thank you, she said, for listening, for not hanging up. I wanted to, I admitted. I know. She stepped forward and hugged me. She felt breakable. You're the only good thing I ever had, she whispered. Then she left. For a few days, I floated on the idea that maybe this was the turning point, that maybe the story could still have a redemption arc. Over brunch, I told Hannah about the visit. She says she's clean, I said. Sober house, meetings, all that. Hannah stirred her coffee, eyes instead of spoons doing the swirling. She's been in and out before, she said. She stole jewelry from my aunt last month. There's a warrant. My parents are done. I'm thinking about maybe giving her another chance, I said. Not engagement, just seeing. Hannah looked at me like I'd set my hair on fire. Are you willing to risk your job? She asked. Your safety for someone who still can't say addiction without air quotes? Her words stuck in my throat. Back at my desk, I tried talking to Kim over text. I told her how much her disappearance had hurt. She replied with heart emojis and, I missed you so much. Every time I nudged toward accountability, she bounced to a meme or a plan for fun dates once things calm down. A coworker pulled me aside one afternoon. Hey, she said, random question. There's been a woman with a face tattoo hanging around outside asking what floor you're on. Is that someone you know? My stomach clenched. Yeah, I said, that's Kim. She gives me weird vibes, she said. Just be careful. A few evenings later, I found out what she meant. The parking garage under my building was mostly empty. My footsteps echoed as I headed toward my car. Nice ride, a voice said. Kim stepped out from behind a concrete pillar, hands shoved in her pockets, eyes too bright. No makeup this time. The tattoo was stark again. Jesus, Kim, I said, you scared me. I've been texting you, she said, stalking closer. You've been busy. I told you I needed space, I said. Showing up at my job is not space. You're all I have, she said, voice rising. My parents hate me. My sister's halfway done. Now you're punishing me too? After everything I've been through. Everything you've put people through, I said before I could stop myself. Her face twisted. There it is, she snapped. You just want a charity case, so you can feel like a savior. As soon as I'm messy, you're out. I want you safe, I said. But I can't be with you unless you're in real treatment. Consistently, not mostly. Not when it's convenient. You're hiding behind my illness, she said, using it as an excuse not to commit. This isn't about commitment, I said. It's about not wanting to go down with the ship. A security guard turned the corner, flashlight beam sweeping. Everything okay? He called. Kim looked at my car and kicked the tire as hard as she could. The alarm shrieked to life. She flinched at the noise, then spun away, middle finger up, stalking toward the exit. The next morning, I sat in a fluorescent-lit room at the police station, a stack of printed screenshots in front of me. Messages, tagged photos, coworker texts. I don't want to get her in trouble, I told the officer. She's sick, but I'm starting to feel unsafe. You're not overreacting, he said. We can file for a restraining order. It might make her angry, but it gives you a line she can't cross without consequences. Family court, a few weeks later, was exactly as depressing as it sounds. Kim showed up late, unsteady, hair a mess, tattoo visible. When the judge read out the petition, she snapped. He's ruining my life, she shouted. He's obsessed with controlling me, my body, my art, my choices. The judge warned her once. When she kept yelling, he granted the restraining order. Outside, an officer quietly told her that if she violated it again, she'd go to jail. For the first time, I saw fear on her face. That night, I found my car with all 4 tires slashed. The security camera showed a figure in a hoodie bending down by each wheel, then sprinting off. You didn't need a zoom to guess who it was. At home, restraining order paperwork in my lap, I sat on my bed and wondered if I'd just shoved a drowning person under her. Finally climbed out of the water myself. 6 months later, I was chopping vegetables for dinner when my phone buzzed with Hannah's name. Hey, I said, tucking it between my shoulder and ear. Kim's dead, Hannah said. No buildup, just flat. My hand froze on the cutting board. What? She overdosed, Hannah said. Different state, motel. Her voice had the hollow quality of someone who'd run out of tears. There was a warrant. She'd been stealing again. We're handling it quietly. No ceremony. My parents say they already mourned her when she disappeared. She told me the basics. Police, needle, no note. When we hung up, I sat at my small dining table and stared at an old framed photo from a festival years ago. Kim laughing, cheeks full, arms around my waist. No ink, no edge. just the woman I'd fallen in love with. I realized I felt nothing about the person who'd died. No tears, no shock, just a heavy ache for the version of her in the photo. Months later, in my therapist's office, I told Dr. Patel that, "You're grieving two different people," she said. "The partner you loved and the addict who hurt you. It's okay if your feelings about them don't match." At home, I took the engagement ring out of its box one last time. I turned it in my fingers, remembering the restaurant, the bathroom proposal, the way she'd said yes, like she'd been holding it in for years. Then I walked it to a pawn shop. On a hike with Jake, I told him about her death. He didn't give me a speech. He just listened, then said, "You did more than most people would have. You got out before it killed you, too." Standing at an overlook, I admitted the thought that had been haunting me. "I'll never know if staying would have saved her," I said, "but I know staying might have destroyed me." That night on my balcony, I lit a small candle and set it on the railing. "This is for the Kim I met," I said quietly. "Not the one I lost." The wind blew the flame sideways, then out. Guilt and relief sat next to each other in my chest, like two strangers on a train, both refusing to move. I closed the balcony door, turned off the lights, and went back inside, knowing I'd be riding with both of them for a long time.